What are you guys going to do for the next 2 weeks preparing for your do or die game against LAFC?
I mean, firstly, just concentrate on this week. I think these weeks are difficult, especially the timing of it when you're training without a game to kind of prepare for. I mean, we know we've got the big one in a week, but when you haven't got one the coming weekend, it can be hard to really focus on that. So it's just about keeping the energy high this week, keeping the mood high, and also keep our fingers crossed for some results this week. And unfortunately, we've let it get to a point where it's out of our hands now. But we're just hoping that we have something going into that last game to play for.
How are you going to handle those results coming in? Get away to the mountains and then look at it Monday, or will you be nervously watching games on Saturday?
Probably watch the game nervously, like you said. It's throughout the season, you can take your eye off results and just focus on yourself. But unfortunately, this time of year we've got to keep an eye on the results. So I think most of us will be watching the games.
What will be the message for the fans for the last game here, home game?
I mean, we're going to need them like we have done all year. I know recently our form hasn't been good enough, but we go into this last game almost like a cup game, if you like. It's like a one-off game where we go in needing the win or we don't get in the playoffs. So yeah, I think just show up and get behind us, and we'll give it everything.
How is the mood on the group after the Real Salt Lake loss?
I mean, there's always a few days after where you can dwell on it a little bit, especially when it's such a big loss like that. But I think this first day back is the time to kind of put it behind you. We can look at the game and analyse it, but once the football starts again and the training, it's time to kind of forget about it and focus on the next game.
As a takeaway from that, we heard Cole talk about that last 15 minutes of desperation almost being something the team needs to instill into the whole 90.
Yeah.
What can you bring from that into the LAFC match?
I think it's just that do or die attitude from the start. We can't let it get to a point where it's 0-0 in the second half or we're 1-0 down. It's got to be as if we're 1-0 down from the start and we're chasing a goal, because we clearly need to win the game. So I think we've got to push the game. We can't let them put their game onto us.
Connor, we saw this morning announced that MLS announced their 22 under 22 list. Darren made the list at number 20. What does that mean just for a young player who's come through the pathway to see maybe their potential rising and being nominated to the leading list at the end of the year for the league?
Yeah, I mean that's really nice for him. I think he's had a really good year this year. I think when he first broke in, it was difficult, and he got thrown in the deep end a little bit, and that can be tough, especially when you're leading the team as a number 9, and he's grown into that role. And you can call this year his breakout year, if you like, where he's had the appearances the last 2 years, but the goals just haven't quite come, which is difficult when you're young to maybe keep that confidence. So that's one thing I'll say, just that fight and that resilience to keep believing in yourself. And he's doing extras before training, after training, just putting the ball in the net, and I'd like to think that's paid off this year for him.
Connor, you were here yesterday for the world record with the Rapids and UC Health.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I've never been part of. Well, I wasn't directly part of it, but I've never been involved in a world record before, so that was different. And yeah, you talk about the mood and maybe something to get your mind off the result of the last game. That was nice, and it brings a little bit of energy to yourself. So yeah, that was cool.
Kind of going back to Yappy and kind of drawing from your soccer career, what is it like as a young player to keep focus on a role or a club you've been in for so long and have a lot of expectations on your shoulders?
Yeah, I think there's so many stages that go into that. I think the first stage is coming through the academy, and as you start getting close to that first team, it's kind of just waiting on your chance. You need a little bit of luck to get in, as Yappy got in the first year where we had some injuries up front, and it kind of takes that maybe to get your chance and get your foot in the door. And then from then it's just about not getting comfortable. It's so easy to think when you're 17, 18, 19, when you start getting games, that this is it and you're in now and your career's just going to go as planned, and things can change all the time. Injuries, people coming back from injury and getting back in the team. So I think it's just that resilience to kind of be ready for whatever's going to come. It's not going to be plain sailing from when you get in the team. And if I can speak about my own experience, I got some first team football pretty early, and I can be honest with myself and admit maybe I took my foot off the gas a little bit and maybe got a little bit comfortable, and then you can find yourself maybe in a situation you don't want to be in, where I find myself on loan and not really in the place where I thought I was going to end up. And yeah, I think the main thing is just keeping your eye on the ball, keeping focused. And we were speaking about Yappy, and I think this season's kind of proof of him doing that, not getting comfortable once he started getting a few appearances. So yeah, just that belief and that resilience to keep going.